There it is, beautiful Ford Field. Underneath it, a not so pretty final score from Ford Field. The Eagles getting the best of the Detroit Lions, 44-6 from this one. Eagles coming in at 2-5 on the season under head coach Nick Sirianni. Lions 0-7 at that point, still trying to get a win. Detroit now falls to 0-8 on the season before going into their bye week. Coach Campbell said if they could get a win here in Week 8, it would be like a reset coming back from that bye week. They do not get a win. Lomas, we were talking about this briefly. Danny Rogers here, now joined by Lomas Brown. I get anxiety talking about this game. What are your initial thoughts on what you just saw?
Embarrassed. I really am. I'm embarrassed for the team, and the reason why I say that, it was Alumni Day. You induct Chris Spielman into the Ring of Honor. You know, just everything. You seem like things that the guys would come out and fight for. They knew all the things that we had planned. But yet and still, Danny, like I told you, we got hit in the mouth early, and we stood there and just continued to get hit in the mouth. We didn't fight back. And that's, to me, that's the most discouraging thing out of this game, is that we just didn't put up a fight or try to fight those guys. And it was just bad. It was really just bad today.
The Eagles have had a hard time putting together 60 full minutes. They'll score early. They won't score again until the fourth quarter. They had a very consistent scoring effort today. Where were the breakdowns on this Lions defense?
The run game. I mean, when you allow any team, okay, so for example, when we had the great Barry Sanders, we would be good when we go in the game plan. If we got over 130 yards rushing in the game, that was a good game for us. They went for over 230 yards rushing against us. That can't be allowed in the NFL. You don't hear gaudy stats like that being put up against an NFL team. So again, we got hit in the mouth and we just didn't respond.
Eagles 236 yards on the ground. Lions just 57. To note, running back Jamal Williams, who's considered the 1B running back next to DeAndre Swift, who's 1A, he was out. He was suffering a thigh injury throughout this entire week, so he was limited in practice. Williams officially called inactive this game. How much did it hurt not having Jamal in there?
I think that did hurt. I really do, because again, he's our tough yardage runner. He's the guy that runs between the tackles. But other than him running the ball, Danny, our energy, that's the guy that gets you up.
Yes.
He comes out here early before games and plays catch with the fans.
Yep.
He's hooping and hollering. He's jumping around. He gets guys fired up and keep them into the game. And I'm hoping that wasn't the reason why we came out and looked so flat. But, hey, you missing Jamal, and it could have been a big reason. But he is our guy, our energy guy. And it was big to miss him today.
All right, enough of us being talking heads up here. Let's send it to the head coach, Dan Campbell, who is standing at the podium.
Bad. We weren't ready. And so ultimately that does, shoot, you guys asked it early in the week. Same. It did. It happened again. And so I felt like we got out-coached today. We got outplayed and across the board. And that starts with me, man. Starts with me. It really does. And you don't play that bad with a number of guys and areas and turn the ball over and penalties, and it's the low energy, and it's just, you don't do that unless that comes from the top. So that's on me. I did not set the tone or the tempo properly, obviously, because that was bad. That was bad. We didn't give ourselves a chance.
How much is losing taking a toll on this team? I mean, I know you said you can't get numbers, but is that part of maybe?
Yeah, but you would like to think, that's what I think some of this is. That's why I can't wait to watch the tape tomorrow, because what you see, I'll use a great example. As I'm watching this, and it's brutal, and it's 5 minutes left in the game, or whatever that is, and you look at the scoreboard, and you look out on the field, and you're watching your defense, and I'm watching Jalen Reeves-Maybin like all out, every play, trying to get a turnover, running through gap, trying to make a play, running behind, making a tackle, running to the sideline, and that's what I'm looking for. Because when we get enough of those guys that are all out all the time, I just think back to whenever I was part of a loser or even some of the best I've been around, it should really make you burn, It should really make you burn to where it makes you go that much harder is what it should do. But look, it could be a reality, but that's what part of this is. You're looking to find out who those guys are that maybe don't respond too well to this, But look, I got a lot to look at. Here's the good news. The good news is we're at a bye, and I got about a week now where I can really, really dive into this and just take it for what it is. We know a lot of the issues, but now I can sit back and say, all right, let me look at all of it. Let me look at exactly where we're deficient, where we're not, what we can help. And I go back to this: where can we help ourselves schematically? Where can we help these players we have be better than they are? Where are we better suited to put some players than where they're at right now, or ask what we're asking them to do?
So what percentage of your roster does it really burn for? I mean, are there a high percentage of guys that it really does sting, or is Jalen one of them?
No, I just brought him up because I noticed him. Like in that sea of trash that we were in, that we had dug ourselves into, that we were floating in, he stuck out like, wow. He stuck out. And that's why I'm saying that. I'm not until I can watch the film, I just know that I don't ever doubt what he is and what he's trying to do. And I just know the way he's made and the way he's cut and everything. That's all I'm saying.
So you mentioned something a couple of weeks ago about Jared Goff carrying more weight. Have you seen that at all?
Well, it was hard for him to carry weight today. I mean, we couldn't get in no rhythm. Today we wanted to be more aggressive. We actually did. That was going to be the whole thing, man. We started out the game, we're going to rip it all go, see if we could hard count them. They didn't jump, which is fine. We hit Hawk on a big play, man. We're flowing. Then it's just, man, we couldn't even. I wanted to be aggressive on third down, but we were not close enough to get in a manageable fourth down. And so you want to do these things. I mean, look, before halftime, we're going down, man. We had a huge play to St. Brown. It's illegal formation. That's like, but there again, that's on me. For them to do that, then obviously we didn't teach it well enough, because that is a day one deal there. And so, I didn't coach it well enough. Here's the other thing. I hate what I did before halftime. Freaking hate it. I hate it. I hate. Now, I don't hate going for it, but I should use the timeout going into 3rd and 1. So that didn't help either. Look, I got out coached, man. I got out coached. I didn't help these guys.
First half, you look at, Goff was sacked 4 times. The offensive line as well. Is that a big concern? Protecting Goff as well with the line?
No, look, to me, here's what a lot of that. He's trying to make a play. He's trying to hold it a little longer. He's trying to. When you start getting down like that, or you're lacking production. My message to him was to really cut it loose. But the problem is, the first time, I don't want to tell you when it was, but we had one. We were double moving early, and now the guy did a good job covering. But I was, hey, throw it. Well, he's got somebody right in his face. We got a blitzer, and there's nowhere to go. I don't care who's in there. I guess Tom Brady might throw it, but I doubt it, just with the look that it was. So I don't see it. I don't feel like, look, aside from the fact that on the 4th down, he threw it into the stands, which, yeah, that's not a good decision. I don't know what he's supposed to do. I really don't. So as far as the way that game went, I don't look at him and go, well, he's a problem. That's just not where I see it. I do see this. Offensively, we were very anemic. And so if you're going to ask me, where are you going to look this week? That's the first place I'm looking. I'm going to look at it 3 times before I look anywhere else.
More questions, guys?
And
Is this the first game that you question your team's effort and question whether or not your message is getting through to some players?
I really felt like we were flat. I really feel like I'm not worried about my message now. I guess maybe I should be worried about my message, right? When you come out and play like this, that's why you're asking that, right? I'm not worried about losing this team. I'm not worried about that. I am worried about that I didn't deliver the right message to get them ready to go. That's what concerns me about what I did. Not that I don't have the right message, or that I can't get this team back up, or that I don't. That's not what I'm concerned about. My concern was that I did think I had them, and now hindsight, I obviously didn't. So it's a lesson learned, It's a lesson learned.
Yeah, you mentioned the anemic offense.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of been a thing all year with the first half scoring and some bursts here and there, but largely anemic. So how do you go about correcting that halfway point with the personnel that is going to continue to be here?
Yeah. Well, look, I think we need to look long and hard at St. Brown. You know, there, for example, are there things that we can use him, that we can do that really will help him help us? Maybe that's the best way to put it. You know, we got to start looking at some of these guys. We know that Leaf can help us in certain things. Is there a better way to do it? You know, is there a better place to put them? Are there more targets that we should be getting to some of these guys? Maybe, you know, there's no secret that Goff trusts Hawkinson. That's because, you know, Hawkinson gets open and he makes plays and he's reliable, but everybody knows that. So every team we play knows that, and you can only go back to that well so long. You know, and we know Swift can help us. We couldn't get him going, you know. For whatever we tried, and we couldn't get him going the way we want to get him going. Let's put it that way. And so, you know, now you have to find some production from your receivers. And I just go back to, you know, I still don't think we've turned over every leaf, and to be able to look at it as a whole now that we're 8 weeks in and see where we're at is, you know, should we be quit shying away from some things and actually go the other way with it? And maybe we need to, you know, that's all. I mean, we're going to look at everything.
You obviously did feel good about the offense coming in. I mean, that's why you took the ball right to start. So
Yeah. I felt really good.
Go today, you know, I guess.
Well, look, here's the thing. When you stall out, look, we get it. You go back, you miss a field goal. You know, they go down, they score. And then you stall out, you get a penalty, and then they go down and score a touchdown. And, you know, and before you know it, it's, you know, whether it is or isn't, it almost is, I don't know. I just think that maybe the fact that we're not moving the ball, I think that affects our team a little bit. I just think it does. And I think it there again, it kind of becomes contagious, you know. And I think we got to find a way to generate some type of momentum and flow out of our our offense, because we're, you know, it's hard to dink and dunk down the field and try to run it and they stuff you and then you're, you know, that's a hard way to live right now. The problem is when you try to push the ball down the field and you don't get anything out of it, now you're 2nd and 10. Well, you go back to the run or a shorter pass, or now you're 3rd and 8, and we're, you know, it's just hard sledding. Then you get a turnover, or you get a penalty, or somebody miss a block, or hell, at one point today we had a nudge. We're trying to help Nelson out. We step on his foot. How's that helping? He gets run over, and now we get sacked. I mean, it's like the Bad News Bears on some stuff, man. So, and there again, that's on me, man. I mean, you don't play that bad unless your head coach did not have you ready to go. So I did not. That's very evident. I think we all know that. So, all right.
We're going to scratch and claw and fight. And we're going to be something this city's proud of. We aren't just the Lions. We're the Detroit Lions. And we're driven by the best. By the people of this city. We are driven by Detroit.
Welcome to the Detroit Lions post-game show alongside Lomas Brown. I'm Dannie Rogers. Let's get into the final stats for this dagger here for the Detroit Lions. 44-6 is the final. Lomas, we were talking about some of the numbers that really shocked us. I mean, 8 penalties.
Yes.
He had a few fumbles. We're confirming that number right now. Time of possession, 25 minutes. The Lions to the Eagles, 35 minutes. Rushing yards, we've already covered this. Lions only put up 57. Passing yards, Jared Goff, 171. Total yards, Eagles just sliced and diced there on offense. Lions did have that one fumble that was turned over, and then, of course, the time of possession. I mean, what stats are sticking out to you today?
Well, to me, Danny, okay, if those stats were switched, meaning passing yards, if you had passed for more than you rushed for, you know, I think you could accept that a little bit more. But when you look at it and you give up 236 rushing yards and only 114 passing yards, to me, that tells me that your team was being out physical. I mean, plain and simple. The Eagles came in and said, look, we're a better team up front than you guys. We're going to prove it to you. And they did it play after play, series after series, and we couldn't stop it. And that's the most disturbing thing, especially when the team has momentum like that. You have to be able to try to stop it, and especially when they're running the ball down your throat. And that's exactly what Philadelphia did to the Lions today.
To summarize head coach Dan Campbell's presser right there, he said, this was bad. He was out-coached.
Yeah.
And now going into this bye week, he has extra time to take a look at this entire roster and really dive into this personnel and figure out what works and what doesn't.
So to me, that's coach talk.
Okay.
Because he didn't play a play. Did you see Coach put on any pads
He
and
didn't.
get out there on
I
the
know he
field?
would have liked to, but he didn't.
He probably would have, but he didn't play, not play. None of those coaches got out on that field and played. That's on the players. That's coach talk because, again, he has to keep that locker room. He has to keep the guys encouraged. But you better believe he's not going to like anything that he sees on the film. I don't care how long it takes him to watch it. He's not going to like anything that he sees on there. So I understand where he's coming from, saying that it's on me, I got out coached and everything. No, it was on your team getting outplayed between these lines behind us. That's plain and simple.
We talked about it. Dan Campbell puts a lot of pressure on the offense. I mean, the defense allowed 44 points to get up on that board. Why is he taking the approach to put more pressure on the offense?
You know, I think he's doing that because, again, he thinks the offense is along farther than the defense is, which we all felt that way too. But I think he thinks it is certain aspects of the game, the run game, with Jamal not being there, but DeAndre being there. He thinks that they can control the clock. They can run the ball. They can be the one that rushed for 200 and some odd yards, control the clock, throw for first downs when they have to do it. And they're not getting it done, Danny. Anytime a team scores against us, you have to be able to try to respond to that. And, of course, we haven't been able to do that in the last few games.
Right, a couple of offensive stats. Lions 36% in third down, 40% in fourth down. They did manage to get that one red zone play down and completed, but when you look at those numbers, you can't really win with them.
No, you can't. You really can. And like you said, then throw in some penalties on top of that. Throw in some sacks on top of that. Throw in some turnovers on top of that. Yep. There you go. So, again, how are you going to beat anybody when you're doing that to yourselves? And, again, it just keeps happening over and over and again. And I know Coach keeps stressing that, hey, that's something that I have to get corrected. But, again, it's not just on Coach to get that corrected. These guys have to consciously think about this during the game and be able to handle this on their own. So I love what he's saying, but I just don't buy it because it's not all on him. He has to put some of the onus on these players out here.
Earlier this week, this coaching staff said they weren't sure what defense they were going to get from Philly. The Eagles were not happy with their defensive effort against Las Vegas. They allowed quarterback to complete 31 of 34 passes. That was not the case.
Right.
What defense did this Lions offense get that resulted in 6 sacks and a loss of 51 yards?
I mean, Danny, I didn't see anything special that they did out there. Now, we know the Eagles came in as one of the least blitzing teams in the league. They probably blitzed maybe like 5 or 6 times that I can see, but every time they blitzed, they was able to get to our quarterback. So again, that's line protection, picking up the quarterback. Not just the line, it's the running backs too, helping with that too. So I don't know if Philadelphia did anything special on the defensive side of the ball, but come out and play their brand of ball. And of course, it was enough to derail us.
Coach Campbell did mention tight end TJ Hawkinson and how much Jared Goff trusts him and how much that helps this game. And he was targeted 11 times today. Hawkinson, 10 receptions on the day. We've been waiting for this to come back towards the beginning of the season. 8 receptions for 2 consecutive games. Yards 89. No other player on this Lions squad reached over 89 yards today. Average 8.9 yards a reception. That's huge, long reception, 18 yards to really set the tone for this game, but they didn't do much with TJ Hawkinson.
No, they didn't. And again, teams are going to start picking up on this. They know he's basically our only weapon right now. He's, like you say, the security blanket for Jared Goff. That's who Jared Goff looks for first before he looks for anybody else. And of course, you know, Danny, again, we're going to have to figure out how can we push the ball downfield? How can we get our receivers involved more into the game plan? That's something that I think Coach Campbell and the coaching staff are going to have to look to try to do, is how we can incorporate more guys into this passing game. Because you better believe coming out the bye week, and who do we have coming out the bye week? I can't think of it right now, but you better believe they're going to find number 88 and they're going to circle him and be aware of him.
Steelers are after the bye week.
There you go.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Throws hands up. Yeah, you're right. Finding more targets down the field. And Jamar Jefferson, the 7th-round rookie.
I like him.
You do like him. I think everyone liked when he scored that touchdown. It came a little too late. All the gas was taken out of this one by the time he got there. But his first career touchdown, a big one for Jefferson, who has not seen action, stepping in for running back Jamal Williams, who was out today. He had a pretty good day.
He did. I loved him since preseason. I thought that he would and should have gotten more playing time as the year went along. I'm glad he got his opportunity today, and he made the most of his opportunity. I just love what he does out there on the field. I love his swag about him. You know, it's just that little swag that he has out there. So I'm glad he got his opportunity today, and hopefully he'll be able to get more. I know Jamal is our guy, but hopefully they can run 3 of these guys, you know, and give him a lot more playing time. So I'm looking for bigger and better things from Jamar Jefferson.
Right, run 3 of them to take the pressure off Jamal Williams.
There you go.
DeAndre Swift carrying most of the load today. Everyone knows they want the ball to go to Swift's hands, and he was not able to capitalize to the fullest today.
Yeah, plus he had a turnover, a big fumble that Darius Slay took back to the house. So again, the problem just got compounded and compounded and compounded today. And it's little things, it's little fundamental things that coaches are going to have to work on: blocking, tackling, running, catching. Just the fundamental things we're going to have to get better at.
DeAndre Swift with 27 of the Lions' 57 rushing yards on the ground game today. I mean, do you take the pedal off of this offense and how much progress they made, or do you just take a step back, look at it, and say, hey, this is a fluke?
I think that's a great question, Danny. That's a great question. I want to say hopefully this is just a fluke. It was just a bad game. Guys just came out, weren't ready, and the snowball effect caught them. But they're going to have to show us something different coming out the bye week. They really are. They're going to have to show us that they realize what they're doing wrong. They're realizing that they need to correct these mistakes and get better out there on the field. So right now I want to lean towards a fluke, but it's a shaky one. I'm shaky over here leaning this way.
Right. Jared Goff, quarterback, a couple of times there on 4th down, it was either resulted in a sack or a throwaway to the sideline. What did you make of his performance at those critical moments?
I kind of thought he was up and down, and I heard Coach Campbell say that he knew Jared was pressing, Jared was holding on to the ball, trying to make big plays. But Danny, when you're in the huddle, when you look in your quarterback eyes, you want to see your quarterback this way. You want to see a steady performance out your quarterback, and too many times this year it's been up and down. So it's something that Jared is going to have to look in the mirror and think about a lot. It's something that the coaching staff probably is going to have to tailor the game plan to help him out a lot more. But I think he knows he can play better too.
25 completions there, 34 attempts. You keep hearing head coach Dan Campbell say, we don't want to throw the ball 40 or something times. Is 34 times too much still?
I think so. I think it's too much too, especially when you have a quarterback that's kind of up and down. You would love to be able to run the ball. You would love to get your offensive lineman aggressive by running the ball. But when you fall behind, then you just kind of have to abandon the run and start throwing the ball. And that's been happening too many times to the Lions this year.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the 6 sacks are going to affect him. But how much does that affect a quarterback's mental state and getting the ball downfield?
Great question, Danny, because again, there was a couple of times he didn't get hit where I felt he was rushed in the pocket. He was making some rush decisions. He was moving around in the pocket when he didn't have pressure, and that comes from having pressure on you or getting hit early in the game, then you start anticipating it again. So again, I just think we're going to have to do some things to settle him down, settle this offense down, and help these guys out.
I would say we're not using the word bright spot
No.
to describe any of this game. However, there was a bright spot at halftime with Chris Spielman,
Yes.
one of the all-time
Yes.
greats, Detroit Lions legend, 4-time Pro Bowler. You love talking about
I do.
Chris.
I really do. And it was so great seeing some of those older players that
The
came
homecoming.
along, some of the alumni. Look, we probably could have used a couple of these guys.
Get
Even
them
in
out
their
there.
advanced age, we probably could have used a couple.
What a great
but
shot.
Great teammate, great guy. I'm happy for Chris to be able to get in, and it's such a great honor for him, man. Number 54, man. He wore it well, and he wore it proudly.
Chris Spielman inducted into the Ring of Honor, the pride of the Lions here in Detroit. He's only the 19th Lion to be inducted. A huge honor. I mean, I've watched some of his videos. I've started reading his book. I get to talk with Chris every 3 weeks in our little internal podcast. How fierce of a competitor was Chris Spielman?
Oh, my God. He was on 24/7. And it's hard to do that, Danny. You know, I could only go maybe 18 hours out the day being on. He was 24/7. The guy was always on. He was a warrior. He was a guy that stayed and studied films. He's a guy that did all the extra things that he needed to do to be successful. And he had a great career. He really did, man. I'm proud of my ex-teammates. He's one of the guys that helped us back in the 90s win the way that we won back in the 90s.
I love that. I got to interview Chris after that induction. I asked him what he envisions for the team that drafted him, where his career started back in 1988. He said to bring a world championship
That's right.
here.
And he sounded fired up at halftime, promising the fans here that they were going to get things turned around. And he said it with so much conviction that you believe him. You believe he's working hard to get this thing turned around. It's a big project that we're trying to get turned around, but he reassured the fans that they are working on doing that.
It is a huge project, and I mean, I just keep going back to the personnel, this roster. How do you anticipate big changes?
Oh, yeah.
The trade deadline coming up this week.
Oh, yeah, Danny, yes. They have to make some change. And maybe you don't make really wholesale changes, but you got to be looking towards the future.
Yes.
So if there are guys out on the waiver wire that you figure can help you, if it is making the trade that you figure that can help this team, you have to do it. You just have to do it.
All right, let's hear from tight end TJ Hawkinson. 10 receptions on the day for 89 yards. He's standing at the podium.
TJ, it's the second time in 3 weeks that, pretty thorough beating at home. I'm just curious, what's the mood in the locker room after a performance like that?
I mean, yeah, obviously it's real tough, I mean, everyone in that locker room, I mean, you never get used to it, So, I mean, that's just one thing that all the guys in there, I mean, we're all down. We all got a pit in our stomach, and, we just got to come back. We got a bye week in front of us, learn from, be able to reflect a little bit on the first 8 games, and, just got to come back and improve, so.
You're coming off a game in LA where you took it to them and it seemed like maybe this thing was starting to turn a corner. Do you get a sense for why things were flat across the board today?
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, that's we try to come out fast, and that's what we always talk about is coming out in the first quarter and just being able to put it on them. And we weren't able to do that. I mean, obviously, we had a drive stall out, and we just got to keep pushing. And yeah, I mean, we got to figure out a way. I mean, it's not anybody's fault. It's just you got to have a little inner drive and be able to get yourself going. So.
Where is this offense? Why is this offense stalling out so bad so often?
I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, I think. Situations. I mean, we hurt ourselves in a few. Penalties. Different things. But I mean, we got to be able to overcome things like that, and that's what good offenses do is just be able to keep moving the ball and overcome mistakes that you make on yourself. And I put a lot of that on myself, and just trying to improve and get guys going and just keep moving the ball. So.
Did you help this out there at all? I mean, so much of the defense is focused on keeper. How do you fight the urge to look around and say, what else help?
No, I mean that's not me. I'm always looking inner self and how I can get better as a player. And the defense can do whatever they want, and I'm going to try and win my route and be able to figure out a way to do things to help us win this game, and help us take a game and just get in the win column. And it's definitely tough. So.
It's hard not to look back at history. Last team to do that, 16 team. You guys, how confident are you guys that you can get a victory like that? Has that crept into your mental at all? Hearing it, people?
No, listen. I mean, we go one game at a time. I mean, I'm not looking. I mean, this bye week, like I said, I'm going to reflect on these last 8 games. We got 9 left, and so we got a few ahead of us. I mean, this season's not over, and we were able to write the story, and it's what guys want to do, what we want to do as a team and where we want to go and move this organization and move the city, and that's something that you got to look right in the mirror and just reflect and understand where we want to go and what we want to do these next few games. So.
Where does the leadership or the voice of energy come from in the huddle or on the sideline? Is there one when things are going downhill so quickly in the first half, second half of that game?
I mean, I think there's a lot of voices. A lot of guys just saying, "Hey, listen, there's a lot of time left." You stall out as an offense, and then they go score. I've been in the past where it's like, you put your head down, and that's something that we don't want to do as a team. And we've seen in a few games where it's like, no, we can be down, but we gotta be able to go and keep moving the ball and keep doing our thing, and just have a chance to win at the end. That's always the goal, especially in the National Football League. It's hard to come by wins, and if you have a chance at the end of the game, that's really what you want, And so we just got to keep pushing, keep our heads up throughout every possession, take it one possession at a time, and just keep trying to grind the ball and get some field position. So.
What is the mood in the locker room after a loss like that? And what are guys saying to each other? Is it quieter, guys?
Listen, we're not trying to point, no one's pointing fingers, no one's doing anything, and like I said, I mean, we're all trying to reflect on ourselves. We got, like I said, we got this week, we got tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we got a few days off where it's like, hey, look at yourself, look at what you're doing and during the week, and improve on that. I mean, we're obviously there's somewhere that we need to improve, and that's something that every guy and I believe every guy will look at themselves and understand, hey, what do we need to do to push forward, and what do we need to do to get in this win column? So.
A couple more, PJ. It looked like you and Matt kind of tangled on the sacks. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, we're there to help. There's no blame that I'm putting on anybody, but I'm there to help him, put the guy on him, and it's just one of those things that can't happen, but it's really unfortunate.
Good time or bad time for bye week for you guys?
I mean, listen, it's always the bye week is something that I've taken. The last few years we've had it early. This year it's kind of dead smack in the middle, so it gives us a little more tape to look back on, a little more self-reflection that we can do, and I think guys are going to take full advantage of it, and it's time to get bodies right too. I mean, it's a long season. The NFL's we have 17 games now, and you got to get ready for the second half of the year. And we don't want to do this again in the second half, so we gotta make sure we're ready to go and reflect on that.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
You just heard from tight end TJ Hawkinson. Quarterback Jared Goff is now at the podium as well. Let's send it out to Goff.
Jared, how do you know in the woods?
Yeah, tough. One of the tougher ones I've been a part of. And yeah, tough to swallow, man. It wasn't good on any phase, and I know we knew that, and I thought what Dan said to the team after was right on. We need to be better.
First half
I'm sorry?
4 sacks in the first half.
Yep.
It's kind of something we are.
Yeah, I mean, they did some good things up front. They got a good pass rush. We knew that coming into the game, and they showed up. You know, I love our guys up front. They fight, but I'm sure they'd be the first to say they'd like to have some of those back. But at the same time, we can all improve on little things and get better. And yeah, they were good up front on defense.
This is the second time we've seen you throw away the football on fourth down. What happened?
That was a misfire, man. I was not trying to throw that ball away. That ball came out high. I knew what the situation was, and that was a mistake, physically, not mentally. I explained the first one, though. I thought the holding call, but.
You had said that the game plan was to be aggressive in this game. You wanted to come out, do a certain stance, and be behind the sticks, kind of prevented that. How frustrating is that when you have a plan to kind of open it up, you want to be aggressive, and you just never get that opportunity?
Very frustrating. Very frustrating. The whole day is frustrating. The whole year has been frustrating. You know, we say a lot of things, we want to do a lot of things, and then we're unable to execute 1 week at a time, each week. Sorry, Dave. You know, over and over again, we can say things all we want. We can say we need to do this, we need to do that. We can say this, we can say that. Until we change our habits and until we change who we are, nothing will change.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, good.
You catch a lot of bullets as a quarterback, and I think that comes with the position in the NFL. How do you avoid, not looking around you and saying, I need more help? Do you have enough?
Listen, my job is to do my job every day. I trust those guys up top, but my job is to do my job on every play and every day, be the best leader I can be the best teammate I can be the best person I can be the best player I can be, and at times I'm going to bear the brunt of a lot of this, and that's my job.
Within the context of that, obviously, the offense has to do more. So, given what you guys have right now, how do you do more? How can you do more so this offense can carry the team forward?
Yeah, that's the question, right? I thought again there were times where we did have good things. You know, first play of the game was awesome, right? You know, 20-yard gain to TJ, stalled out there. You know, what can you point to? I don't know. I have to watch the film, but you know, finding ways to get guys in the positions to make plays, and me being able to find them and put the ball on them. And I know that's a simple answer, but that really is.
The bye week is full. Teams lose a lot. Things can cave a bit after
Yeah.
things like that. Do you protect that at all?
I don't. I really don't. And I think that's been kind of the theme of the whole year. Is as bad as it's been, the effort's there. We got young guys who are fighting. We got veteran guys who are fighting, and we love each other.
The bye weeks for physical, mental rejuvenation. When you've got the weight of 0-8, are you going to be able to get what you need out of the bye week with that kind of hang-up?
No, I mean, not if we were the opposite, right? You'd like to be able to rest a little bit. We've got some work to do. That's the bottom line, and it's the challenge we're tasked with right now, and it's just what we need to handle.
So what do you think you do? What is your plan for the bye week?
Yeah, I will try to rest and recover, but like you said, that you know, in the back of your mind is 0-8, and what can you improve on? So you don't fully get to do that, but it's what we've done to ourselves.
Is the 0-17 in the back of your mind at all?
No.
Avoiding that?
No. No.
Anybody else? Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
That is all.
You just heard from quarterback Jared Goff. Lomas, we kind of looked at each other. Second time this season, he said it's one of the tougher ones he's been a part of in his career.
I mean, it's been tough.
Yeah.
Danny, I know it's tough going through it. I've been through a couple of those. It's tough going through those games like that, especially with Jared coming from the Rams, having all the success that he had early in his career, not fighting all this adversity that he's fighting here in Detroit. But like he said, he's going to have to just keep going through this. He's going to have to keep grinding, keep pounding that rock, keep believing that things are going to get better, and keep leading this group on the offensive side of the ball. That's all he can do right now. And, you know, I feel bad for Jared and them because it doesn't seem like things, you know, at this point in the year, you expect things to probably get a little better. But right now, it seems like we're taking steps backwards right now. It
does. All right. With that said, let's take a look at the rest of the league here that went to battle today. Okay, Jets getting a win over the Bengals.
Whoa.
Okay, that's actually very interesting. 34-31. Guys, these scores are in no particular order. Rams 38, Texans 22. If you had some Rams player on your fantasy team today, you were doing well. Titans get the win over the Colts 34-31. Steelers, this was a low-scoring one.
Tough
Steelers
game.
15,
Yeah.
Browns 10. That's always a good one.
Yeah.
San Francisco getting the win over the Bears 33-22. Bills, of course, getting the dub 26-11 over the Dolphins. Packers squeezing out a close one Thursday. We're including that one as well against the Cardinals 24-21. Panthers taking care of business against Atlanta 19-13. And then, of course, tonight, Cowboys will be taking on the Vikings. Monday Night Football, Giants, Chiefs. And then some games that are still going on, Patriots, Chargers, 7-7 there in the second quarter. Jags, Seahawks, okay. 7-zip. Seattle right now with the Jags. We'll see how that one turns out. Washington taking on Denver there in the first quarter. 0-zip still. And then the Bucks versus Saints. Tom Brady up 7-0 on the Saints there in the first quarter. Okay, that was all the scores around the league.
Yes.
The schedule doesn't really get easier for the Lions after the bye week. They'll go on the road for a handful of games. We won't be back here at Ford Field until Thanksgiving against the Bears. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. That is a stretch, and hopefully when we come back Thanksgiving, I hope we're gonna put a W in the column.
Yes.
A dub.
Yes.
Like we like to say, a dub.
One dub.
We need a dub
Couple
in the column.
dubs. Yes,
and
please.
then hopefully with these guys get back here and you got this Thanksgiving Day crowd and the tradition and everything, hopefully they'll be able to put on a great performance for the hometown folks.
Folks, come on out.
Yes,
Thanksgiving.
please.
Let's go. Taking on Chicago Bears. So the Lions are going to have to get through Pitt and Cleveland before that time. What are your final thoughts, Lomas, as we close this one out?
Well, I mean, again, I think everybody. I think the coaches talked about it, but I think the players, they're going to have to go, Danny. They're going to have to look in that mirror, and they're going to have to reexamine who they are, what they're about, what they want to be about. I think you're going to have to take a self-image of yourself and see, are you doing everything you can do to help this team win?
Yep.
What else can you do to help this team win? I think it's going to be on all the individuals to do this during this bye week. It's going to sting. It's going to sting because they're going to hear a lot of things they don't want to hear. But again, you're going to have to just take a self-image of yourself and really say, what can I do to help this team win?
Yep, these Lions will have a long time to mull this one over. A bye week coming up here in week 9 before they go on the road to Pitt and Cleveland. Like we said, taking on Chicago here at home on Thanksgiving. All right, for Lomas Brown, I'm Dannie Rogers. Lions still looking to get into that win column. It won't come today. They drop 44-6 the final against the Philadelphia Eagles. We're closing this one out.
We're going to close
Say bye,
it out.
Lomas.
Bye, people.
See ya in 2 weeks. Bye.